Hello. There we go. I've got everything working again. There was faffery today, and I apologize for the mess that I made. Kind of. But I've got everything working now, and that's the important thing. Hey, Jack. The important thing is that I figured out exactly what went wrong and undid all of the wrongness. Ignore the fact that I kind of sort of started 4 different streams before I got this one running. That's a technicality. I've not been having a good week. This week is not going well so far. Was this drama about a 7-hour forums? I was told about it. I don't care enough about it to go into it. From what I understand and what I've been told, it's much ado about something that the situation has changed since it started. This tractor, by the way, is a International 1086 Turbo. Available from Yes Mods. It's only Tuesday, I know. On the bright side, I slept wonderfully last night because I have the warmest duvet cover in the world. Changed. From what I understand, something about it. I don't know what the full story is. I don't care to know the full story. I have been told, however, that something or other has changed, and whatever is on the forum might be out of date, it might be right, it might be wrong. I don't check the forums. I don't know. I don't know enough to comment on it too well, so I'm not going to. Because I don't want to cause drama. I don't want to start drama. I don't want to end drama. I don't want drama. I just want to play game. Is it too much to ask to just want to play game? Hey, John. How you doing today, dude? Seasons is in testing for console. Do I think it'll be out this week or in a few weeks? I am going to stick with my initial prediction of somewhere in or around October 22nd, to coincide with the DLC, coincide with Platinum. That's been my prediction for the last couple of weeks. It shall remain my prediction. It's not going to be something that's easy to test. Like, Giants are testing it themselves, and then they've got to send it to Sony and Microsoft, so it might be a bit longer, it might be a bit shorter. But that'd be my best guess. Hey, Macaulay. How you doing today, dude? That's my best guess. I might be wrong. However, I feel like I'm allowed to make these random guesses based on the same amount of information you guys have. Because I have no extra information on seasons. So whatever happens, happens, I guess. You almost had snow yesterday. Fun times. I hate snow. I like snow when I'm inside looking out at it and it's very pretty and white. I don't like snow when I have to go out in it. Then it is the worst thing in the world ever. It is the, like... No, just no if I need to do anything. Bareback, you're gonna go take a shower? Fair enough, Drew. Game needs to update first for seasons. The game will need to update for seasons on console. Seasons on console will require a game update. That is the only way Giants can do it. It's the only way to get around Sony's ban on scripts. Like, that's it. There is no... weird second option that could be done. It has to be a game update. Where's Alex Lewis? I don't know. I don't have like GPS trackers on my mods blurred, so I can't tell you where they are. They show up if they want to. You reckon just before or day of Classic? I think, Macaulay, that's a good guess. That's why I'm guessing around that time as well, because usually with a DLC there's a game update, and I would wager the Giants want to update the game as little as possible for convenience sake. How do I have webcam on console? I'm not on console. I'm on my PC. I just conveniently use an Xbox controller because it's convenient. Is this multiplayer? No. I don't know if half the mods I have would actually work in multiplayer on this map. Yeah, Sony banned scripts on console. Yeah, but Sony has never really wanted scripts on console basically for security reasons, because apparently like PS Plus is so badly coded that even a script could compromise it. That they don't want scripts of any type on the old Station of Play. Where's the other tractor? There should be a John Deere around here somewhere. Unless, of course, I was off faffing with that. Oh, I'm gonna tab to the Deere tractor and see where the hell it is. Oh, it's over there. Okay. Because I want to get it going on some plowing. I feel like that's a good idea. And I'm going to use a hired worker, because I've not been using hired workers and I really should. This is the US version of the 6M, by the way. Hence why it's got no front weight block. It's about as powerful as the in-game 6R, I think. Some of the higher ones. Helper E is a nearly full grain tank. That's fine, I'm heading that way anyway. So, the plan for today, by the way, is to finish the corn harvest and any other harvests that need to be done. Hey, Alan. And hello. Plan is to finish the harvest today and ideally get to late autumn and get some silage baling done, but I don't know if I want more silage. I might be just as well off making some hay bales, but I think we'll go with silage bales. For the simple reason that silage is less work to make. Bullet Bill, hello. How's things? Things are good, dude. Things are good. I'm gonna admit I'm coming around to the style of thinking that the sky in FS19 it needs work. Because I didn't notice this until I was talking to Oxy about the sky. I keep tilting the camera down so that I don't see it. I didn't notice that I kept doing that. Every time I'm like using a tractor, I have the camera tilted down so that the sky isn't visible. Genuinely had no idea until I like pointed it out to myself, effectively. Do I know if 40 is bringing the brown traders? I'm being I'm being as uncontroversial as possible, though. It is what it is, and it. It's new technology. I've seen flight sims having trouble with volumetric clouds. It seems to just be a thing that devs make the clouds a bit too excessive. The sky color was a nice idea, but it's too washed out. Not vivid enough. I'll defend what can be defended, but I think Seasons tried to improve the sky, but the base color of it's wrong, so there's only so much a script can do. Did I see the new Microsoft Flight Sim? I have been following that pretty hardcore, CD. There's more information due out on the 10th, which I think is Thursday or Friday, depending on time zones. Looking forward to seeing what that is. I will be getting MSFS 2020. The issue is, well, they don't. The issue is, Bill, quite frankly, nobody knows how to do it yet. Like, I've seen flight sim add-ons. What is it called? Is it X-Weather? There's an add-on for X-Plane that tries volumetric clouds, and they look like shaving foam. It's just a genuine issue with people trying volumetric clouds at the moment because it's new technology. It will improve in time, but people are learning and they're getting it wrong. I don't know a better way of putting it. You know? There was a time when 3D looked horrific in games. Volumetric clouds at the moment just look horrific in games. It's looking like Microsoft Flight Sim is going to get volumetric clouds right for the first time. Because that's apparently... That's apparently what they're doing. And CD, you could use the Microsoft, the FS 2020 world for ETS, ATS, and FarmSim. If the technology existed to port it into the games. They're literally just using Bing Maps. I'm Irish, aren't I? Yes, but secretly Norwegian. Do you know, the issue with dynamic terrain isn't looks, though. This is, I think the thing. The issue with dynamic terrain isn't looks, it's optimization. Because you could get dynamic terrain into FarmSim probably pretty easily, but it would run at like 2 FPS at most. It's actually... Is it 4 or 5 petabytes of data in the Microsoft Flight Sim, which I worked out is about 4,000 gigs or 4,000 terabytes, just over 5,000 terabytes. So the issue with the difference between the sky and dynamic terrain is the sky doesn't eat frames. Dynamic terrain would. That's, I think, what the difference is. Because I'm sure if dynamic terrain looked atrocious but was optimized, they would actually put it in because it's been demanded so much. Just, here, you wanted this. Hey, how's that Steve's Mods as well? I'm doing good, Steve. How you doing? And Com Coogan as well, hello! There's so much I wish Giants would do better. So much. Is just because spin tires is optimized for only that's precisely it, John. Like, if you look at how spin tires does it, it's a very... I don't want to call it bodged. I don't want to... Like, it's not simplified. It's a very technically intense thing that spin tires is doing, but they're not trying to do all the same... It's not even crude. Spin tires is a very elegant solution, but it's basically the only thing spin tires does. You know, spin tires doesn't have it work in multiplayer, for example. Spin tire, you know, if you're in multiplayer and spin tires, all the terrain deformation is only on your end. There's no server side stuff. And it doesn't need to remember how grown the trees are in the map because they're effectively static. Whereas in Farm Sim, like, it has to remember growth states of pretty much everything and all this kind of additional information that's where I feel like the big complication comes in. And it's going to be difficult to figure out ways around that complication for Farm Sim to get dynamic terrain. I think that eventually it'll happen, though. I think eventually it's... the computers will get to the point where optimization might not be an issue anymore. Depth, not broadness, good sounds. I'm with you there, Matt. Just expand the gameplay. Expand what's already in there. Maybe add, like, I'd like them to add orchard farming. That would be amazing. I think that's something the Farm Sim is missing and lacking right now. If they want to add more breadth to the game, just different styles of farming, don't add weird little gimmicks, but add different styles of farming, like more root crops would be cool, so that you've got more specialized equipment. I know root crops aren't the most popular, but I think some of the equipment for root crops is pretty cool. Orchard farming, I think, is a must at this point. And just expand the existing mechanics of the animals. You know, also make it so the 3 points aren't made of cement. I want my wobbly 3 points. I will that is the hill I will die on, is wobbly 3 points. That's exactly it, Macaulay. Like, there's no brand that can sell Farm Sim now. There's no brand after October 22nd when Class comes into the game. What brand? What? I'm not pressing any buttons. The tractor's just rolling down the hill. If it doesn't... That's the thing, though. You don't need to add new key combinations, which is, I think, one of the limiting factors. And to an extent, I'd say that Giants having the baseline be what a console can do is a good thing, just because of the sales numbers they get on console. Like, it's frustrating for PC guys that Giants, you know, can't expand as much as maybe we'd like and can't put in all the shiny features that we'd like, but at the same time, it's better that they have money to improve the technology, in my opinion. Drew, the Farm Sim is going to stay on current gen for at least one more game. The Farm Sim is going to stay on current gen, so Xbox One, PS4, 4, whatever the next game is, then potentially move over to whatever the next gen is, but it's going to be at least one more game. They were limited by the current generation. Is there for sure FS21 planning? They're always thinking about the next game. There is no game developer in the world that releases a game and takes a break. Scarlet looks good. Thing is, Giants care about getting as many people to play the game as possible, so they're gonna stay on the old gen because so many people have them for one more game, and then they'll release on all platforms, even the next gen. But Scarlet being great isn't going to magically release FS21 without Xbox One limitations or PS4 limitations. The fact that Microsoft are putting their very ambitious and seemingly hard, like they're claiming it's going to be a hardcore flight sim on their new console, that's intriguing, because traditionally flight sims haven't really worked too well. They do work, but not very well with controllers. Every year they don't give themselves a lot of time to try and think, so they release and smooth release. Yeah, Venus. I think they're gonna just port into the next gen consoles. They did this with was it FS15, where they just ported into next gen consoles and you know, had them running the game running, basically delimited but running. Yeah, I'm with you there, but like that's the main thing that I'm like, how can they do this? There's no brands, and people, as much as I hate to say this, people tend to think the game is better if it's got new brands. Otherwise, the overriding thing people say and on Facebook usually is, but it's just the old game with new textures. There's nothing done. They've not done anything except for these 12 things. But they've not done anything. It becomes, what have the Romans done for us? I'm fine with Farm Sim being an arcade game, frankly. Like, you can mod it to be a bit more hardcore. I've played a bit of Cattle and Crops. It moves way too slowly for my liking. So I'm fine with Farm Sim being much more arcadey and having a much faster pace. Farm Sim League and esports in general, I don't understand. Like I used to watch StarCraft, and I kind of found that to be, in a way, just like virtual chess. I was fine with StarCraft. I'm fine with like strategy game esports, but like FIFA has esports now as well, and I'm like, why? But I think bluntly, Farm Sims peaked in terms of sales. I'm gonna give an opinion here that Bill may or may not agree with, but this is my opinion. The shadows in FS19 are a lot more on point at times than the FS17 shadows were. But that might be because I burnt out of FS17 so hard that I refuse to play it anymore. Physically, I cannot bring myself to even look at FS17. So there is a bias there. I'm not gonna claim that I'm not biased. Yeah, I think that's it. Like, the shadows in spots are a bit too dark. But then you get shadows like this one on the Combine where it's probably about right. Hey, Chris. I'm doing good, how are you? I think Oxy always does the best job that he can, to be fair, Bill. Like, he's incredibly consistent with quality. Can I do a video explaining seasons? No, because I don't understand seasons. I am just as lost as you are. Just really bluntly. Was that better than what... See, the problem with 17 for me wasn't the lighting ever, it was just that it just got boring. Even with all the great maps we had in 17 and all the great mods, it just, like, it got boring, and FS19 is kind of heading that way for me now, at the moment. Like, I'm probably gonna get just about 1,000 hours in FS19. Just from YouTube, but I'm already up near 1,000 in X-Plane. I only bought it a few months ago. Hey, Diesel. Think you try to get online at all my streams? You're quiet. No, staying quiet's fine. Lurking is the best. Is great in a way because, like, you're never gonna cause trouble if you don't say anything. I'm trying to decide what I want to do next. I think the only thing I can do is fast forward to late autumn, which is gonna be a hassle because it's early autumn. Actually, are there... Hey, Alex! Are there any other fields that I need to do yet? Have I done all the fields? Yeah, everything but grass. Sweet. See, the thing is, and this is kind of why I get annoyed with the amount of converts, all of these maps were designed around FS17's graphics to a certain extent. And with the massive changes that FS19 brought, they're not going to look the same, and you're always going to feel like they look maybe a bit worse, because everything is just slightly off from where it was a year or two ago. No, Diesel, I dad. If you've been around any length of time, you know that I do have a habit of telling people where they can go and how they can get there. Marwell is fantastic. Marwell was never in 17, chat. Marwell was brand new for 19. Like, it was being developed in 17, sure, but it's brand new, and I think one thing about 19 is that the power of nostalgia is waning. The power of nostalgia about maps is waning, so I almost feel like mappers are better off ignoring all the converts. And I say this really wanting a convert map in the form of Ventomlin from FS15. I say this full well knowing that I'm saying, hey, that map that I really want, don't do it. I feel like working on converts is almost a lost cause when you can make a map that looks better from scratch. Oh, Lancy, they totally do. I can't defend them on that one. Like, Giants lean on modders more than they should, for sure. And I think the previous streams where basically every second idea was, oh, modders can do that. Well, why couldn't giants? You guys have all of the resources. Why can't you do this? I'm with you there, MJ. Too many converts is like playing FS17, but with better graphics, in a way. Yeah, some maps... Why are you missing these... What is with these little patches here? Marwell, Ascena, this is Ireland. I don't get on with This Is Ireland. I don't know why. And it's nothing against you, Lancy. It's just one of these maps that just, in my head, does not work. Shiny Plex and photo frames. Hang on, did you get yours? I'm still due to get mine for doing nothing. I was promised a plaque and I have not got one. Giants. Traditionally, that's how giants have got new ideas. It's just looked at modders. You got mine? You got yours? I feel gypped. Hey, Oxy. I doubt it. You probably got the frustration, maybe not the sarcasm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to... I hope Seasons can actually deal with this mod. Because I always get concerned when I turn up the time acceleration to 9,000 that it's going to break everything. I'm just glad that I don't have animals that I need to worry about. Everything you send to Ireland gets lost on it. Yeah. I'm not saying it's a bad map. Just doesn't sit with me for... I'm gonna say no reason whatsoever. It'll sink for a bajillion hours, probably. But it's better than just sitting here for 20 minutes waiting. At 120 times. There we go. Now we need to sync. That's exactly it, Lancy. You're learning. You know, when you're learning VR base station setup. Here's the thing, I don't even know where I'd put mine, so without modders, Farm Sim would have died a long time ago. Like, without modders, Farm Sim, in terms of general interest, would last maybe 2 months. If even that. I'd probably get bored within a month. Hey, VF. That's nothing against the game, it's just that the entire experience is very samey if you're on the same map constantly. That's exactly it, Oxy. Like, every other farm game... You're not blue. We're having a mod party, it's fine. Well, every other farming game doesn't have mods and doesn't have a community. Like Farm Sim, I feel kind of got lucky that they have the community in a way. But if it didn't have the mods, it wouldn't exist anymore. And if there wasn't the rivalry from Cattle and Crops, which I know that I crap on Cattle and Crops a lot, but at the same time, if Cattle and Crops didn't exist and didn't raise the ire of some within Giants, FS19 would literally probably, like, we'd still be where we'd still have FS7 or FS15 graphics. Yeah, some of the praise has to go to the other games as well, because they push Giants. If Farmsim didn't have mods, the game would be like Cat and Cross. If Farmsim didn't have mods, we'd still be playing FS13. You see, I'm phrasing things well today. I'm being uncontroversial. I'm being a good girl today. Because I could use much stronger language, but you know, there's no point. It's still getting the point across. Giants were not happy with Cattle and Crop's announcement way back when. Has this grass not grown fully? It's not grown at all. Oh well, there goes my idea of doing some... Funny thing is, Bill, like, I've spoken to him. He genuinely believes in the game. I've spoken to him about some things that... Yeah, I've spoken to him in private about some things that the community raises. And more than a few of his responses I found completely reasonable. Because he gave reasons and logic. Some of the stuff that he does, yeah, isn't the greatest. Again, being non-controversial. But some of his responses to various community concerns, on the occasion that I spoke to him, they were very reasonable. And like, he sees Farm Sim as a game first and foremost. Hey, Marcel. And that's something that is easy to forget. Is Farm Sim is first and foremost a game. It's called Farm Simulator, but so's Goat Simulator, and that's hardly a realistic representation of being a goat. Yeah, Farm Sim, first and foremost, is a game and needs balance. And that's half the reason why some of the decisions Giants make are made. 8 notifications will happen. There was a minor issue around getting the stream started, and I accidentally broke YouTube for a period. It's fine. Farm Sim is... Well, Farm Sim is trying to balance it, and that's where the difficulty is. Like, how do you balance hardcore sim and arcade? And it's almost impossible to do that, because you make a decision that airs something towards more arcadey, and the hardcore guys get angry. You move something, you nudge it towards hardcore, and the arcade guys get angry. It's an impossible balance. And I'm with you there, Marcel. I think it's trying to do a bit too much of everything, but the current realism level base game is, I think, about as good as I can get balance-wise for Simcade. I'd like to see more fleshing out of the animals, though, that I feel needs a bit more. The build your own farm terraforming needs complete redoing. And I think one of the big things Giants could do is introduce all of the hardcore things that people want, and just have a Euro Truck style buttload of sliders. You know, Euro Truck is being held up as a gold standard. Well, why not use the Euro Truck standard for realism and just have all of the sliders in the world. As a workaround, so that the arcade guys can make the game super arcade, and the hardcore guys can make the game super hardcore. What would happen if all modders and mappers went on strike? I would get a little holiday from YouTube, I guess. Build your own farm feels a bit rushed. And by a bit rushed, I mean very rushed. And the terraforming that was put in really feels like it was made in a blind panic. But they're not world-endingly bad. They're bad enough that I try and avoid using them as much as possible. But they're not world-endingly bad. They don't ruin the game. It's better than nothing, but the way the placeable system worked before is a lot better than the way it works now. You know, it was a mistake and a miscalculation. Dog was pointless. I heard I heard that during the preview streams, I was never told this when I was over there. During the preview streams, they had to work with the dog in a very specific way or else the game would crash. It wasn't finished. Like 3 days before launch. Farm Sim League, the FSL, I don't get, but I don't get esports in general, so... Modders come and modders go, and the game keeps going. You know... The biggest problem Farm Sim has... And it is a huge problem, and it needs some sort of way of being addressed, is just the fact that the tutorials for new modders either aren't there or are very, very old. And like Oxy said, the systems are getting so complicated that it's just... Like, I did some modding for 17. I'm not even gonna bother trying to learn 19. Granted, I'm working on like 12 different projects off camera. By the way, I'm cleaning up the yard because if Fahy was here, he would be shouting at me. Hey, Twincam. It's going good. But I think the biggest issue Farm Sim has is just the learning curve for modding now is really becoming quite cliff-like. Because in 17, thank you, Farming Boy. In 17, it was difficult to learn modding because mapping specifically, which is what I worked on, did some tweaking and whatnot. And it was... I never actually released a mod, by the way, so if you're gonna try it... Well, I did, technically, but they were just really crappy reskins where I went into Photoshop for 5 minutes, scribbled, and then said, there we go. And the biggest learning curve when I was learning was learning GE in the first place, learning the controls. Because they're kind of obtuse. And now it's just getting more and more and more and more complicated with all the new features, and the learning curve is getting greater and greater, and the tutorials just aren't there because Shy Wizard doesn't have 73 hours in one day to do all the tutorials people want him to do. Hey, Lamb King. Straight up has it, that ain't gonna happen. the timings don't work out for it. Like, myself, Sim, and Landy, and I know Landy's not Fahy, but myself, Sim, and Landy have been talking about doing a multiplayer thing for about a year and a half now. And you might have noticed we've never been a multiplayer. Well, we have been a multiplayer together briefly, but we've not done the multiplayer thing. It's an idea that I think will be fantastic and will be really fun, but the timing just will probably never work out. I need to try and find... Didn't think Landy did MP. He doesn't like Farm Sim multiplayer, but this idea wasn't involving Farm Sim at all. It's an idea that we've now extended to being two different games. That would be very fun, but when we're playing those games, we play them for us, so... Shy, you're always welcome to add your 2 cents on modding talks. You're about as important to the game as modders, because you figure half of the modding stuff out. You played modder? We do occasionally. I'm with you there, Marcel. I think the 2-year dev cycle needs to extend, or the team needs to... I would say increase by another 50% in size. Minimum. Like, I think a 3-year dev cycle for Farm Sim would be great. The immediate question is, well, how do Giants make their money if they're not releasing a new game every 2 years? Well, just release one extra, quite large DLC. Is that gonna lock the way? I don't think it is. Big problem is that Focus decide the release schedule, and Focus decide it's 2 years. But CD, why don't you just like convert the mods that you want to convert? You don't need to convert everything, dude. Convert what you want and then make some fun stuff for yourself. Ideally something that launches bales. The bale cannon shall rise again. No. Is this just like skidding along the ground? Yeah, kind of. You want them all? I mean, fair enough then. Money isn't a problem for Giants. The money issue would be on Focus's side, because I mean they're the publishers. They want money. That is always going to be an issue. Is the publishers want to make as much money as possible. Gonna read you the single armor. The fun thing is, Alex, that I was intending to do that, and the day that I was going to do it, he already had it done and had released the bloody video. I was going to try and convert that myself. Look at me being all neat and tidy and cleaning up the yard. I'm getting combine. That's probably not going to come back out of the shed. Does the door on that shed... come back to it in a second, VF, because I need to move the deer. Oh god, if FS21 is Epic Store exclusive, I am done with Farm Sim. Okay, both doors to open. I think... I can't remember if I've got both or one open. I remember it was a faff to figure out the doors on it. I mean, SES, yes, and the devs of Deadstick, the flight sim game that I'm following, they seem to be wanting to go down the SES route, so I'm happy with that. I mean, well, if modern, if new farm sim isn't for you, then it's not for you. I don't think anybody can complain if it's just not for you. Makes you sad. I mean, I can understand it, because the keyboard controls, I feel, have been ruined by 19. They're just so bad. That's why I've been using an Xbox controller consistently. Marcel, having been in the office on the day of release. Also, VF, I did get both doors open. I'm not sure how. Having been in the office on the day of release, it wasn't like one huge stupid decision. It was just a series of small issues that they hadn't quite worked out. And some of them did get worked out, some of them didn't, and some of the fixes broke other stuff that wasn't caught in time. Yeah, this shed, I do have both doors open. I think one of these I had to stand in a really odd place to get them open. I can't remember exactly where it was. One of the triggers is a bit weird. But not, yeah, can't remember how I got the second one open, gonna be honest, but I did. Okay, there's one of the glorious things about FS19 though. You cannot tell me that the shine off that roof, that metal roof, is not beautiful. Because that is really nice. I've just realized why the shadows look bad. Hang on. I've just realized why people say the shadows look bad. It's also... Was it? I didn't know that, Bill. The sky... Yeah. See, look, now it looks even better. Hey, this auto detection model itself. I'm trying to make FS19 look good. That's, you know. I want people to enjoy Farm Sim. That's all I want. I don't care what game they enjoy. I just want people enjoying Farm Sim. There was a time where I'd care, but that has come and gone, and I've kind of realized that, you know, if you don't enjoy whatever game Giants say you should, because it's the newest one, who cares? Enjoy what you want. Have fun. Make with the farming. There are definitely moments. I think the like just before dawn when the sky lightens up, that is glorious in FS19. Especially some of the more distant stuff. The textures and the equipment looks really good. I will say though, if you're still playing FS08, you maybe might want to look at the newer games. I'm with you there, Marcel, and as I do with my thumbnails, spoiler alert, if you look at the thumbnail for this stream, a bit of photo editing goes a long way in making the game look stunning. Because there seems to be, like, a grey mist over everything every single time. It's like, no, get rid of the grey mist, cut through that with some photo effects, and you got yourself a really, really nice, crisp looking game. Do you know what? That's probably it, Bill, is like, if that is a bad example. Hang on a second. I've been playing with the camera zoomed in this entire time. I was wondering why things looked weird. If you take this Combine, this is just base game Combine, it does look incredibly more detailed than this tree, for example, or even the ground textures. And yeah, I think that might be where FS19 is falling flat. Never occurred to me until now. Also, Pixel Sky is... it's trying, okay? It's definitely trying. Look at the size of those pixels. Hey, James. Right, let's get this into winter and start setting some crops, I think. Just squinted looks okay then. Yeah. I mean, Oxy, you're doing your damnedest to get the textures looking good, and you're making a valiant attempt. Seasons does seem to help with some of the... That's kind of trippy, actually, with the... The clouds blur when they're going at high speed. Yeah, the time-lapse skies are cool. Especially when there's, like, heavy clouds. Because that looks pretty realistic. I've never noticed that before, and now I can't unsee it, Bill. Thanks for that. Thanks for ruining the sky yet further for me. So I'm gonna wait until winter and then we'll start loading up the big old truck full of our grains and selling them off. By the way, Bill, this is pretty much the same challenge I did on the West Coast back in 17. It seems to be easier in 19, oddly enough. Even literally day one of winter. I'm doing good, Brendan. How are you? Clouds change direction. I mean, they do in real. They do in real life too. It's called the wind has changed direction. Literally day one of winter. Seriously? It's actually sleet, I think. Oh. It's actually sleet. Instant snow. Where did I put the truck? Where did I put the truck? There's the truck. Yeah, let's off the wheat first. Instant. Like, there wasn't even a delay to it. It was just like, yep, snow now. Am I saying this on the right day of winter? No, it's tomorrow that I should be selling the wheat. Have fun with the grip. It's alright, I've been doing skids in this truck pretty much every stream, so I can show off my immense driving skills. Let's set the time to 15x. Funsies. See you, Bill. Graph does not represent the future. It, I know that it doesn't represent the future, but what it does represent is trends. And looking at this trend, it's day 2 of winter that I really... Well, day 3 of winter that I really want to be selling the wheat. Is there anything that I can... Oh. Oh. Have I accidentally, like, crashed all of the prices? Because it's looking increasing like all the prices have just straight up crashed. Let's get the time moving on a bit faster. By a bit faster, I mean just get maximum fastage going. Dave done a Brooks. Dave done a I don't know what I'm doing anymore thing. Hey, David. Also, there is now more snow on the ground, which... Right. Ah. So, yeah, what I have in fact done is I've crashed the market for everything somehow. Useful. Tomorrow's gonna be Oakfield. MP might be Friday. Friday is kind of the day where anything can happen. I'm guessing the prices all crashed because it was a good year. Also, I don't know what that crackling sound is. Hope Seasons comes out soon. It's already out on PC, Drew. I hope it comes to console fairly sharpish. That'd be pretty sweet. Right, where am I going with this? 398 at Agri XJS. You go on holiday then? Oh, Snowman! Hello, Snowman! This is one of the things that Oxy just does really well, is making the seasons feel different. Yeah, seasons for console, I would say at a guess, and it is just a guess, you'd be looking at probably sometime around when Platinum drops. You're looking at probably a couple of weeks minimum for seasons on console to get out. Because my guess is based on there's usually a patch that goes along with a DLC, and it makes sense to merge the Platinum update and the Seasons update together into one mega update for console. Marcel is just echoing my own opinions here. The Lod Circle is just yikes. It does stand out a lot more in winter. Yeah. Seasons in testing. It's not going to be a quick testing though. That's the thing. Like, people seem to think that because Seasons in testing, it's going to magically be out in 2 days. No, it's so It snowed, yes. Does anybody know what this crackling sound is? The game is causing it. I don't know if you guys can even hear it. Said 3 to 4 weeks on Giants Forum. My guess is sometime around Platinum dropping. That's the guess I've run with for the last couple of weeks. And it's not a very confident guess, but it's at least based on some vague semblance of information. What are we doing MPN seasons? No, the multiplayer server will not have seasons because it's just not active enough to warrant seasons. How did the thingy? Oh, it's the tip side, isn't it? Tip side. There we go. Hey, Realistic Gamer. Is it raining? Somebody said that it's a rain glitch. Your info second. Mine's just a guess. I mean, your info's better than mine. Your info's based on more actual information than mine. But I feel like my guess has some legs. Like, I might be wrong, but at least I'm going for something that has some legs. Every time you gone on, no one's been there. Yeah, basically nobody comes on unless I'm on, Matty. Which kind of sucks. Like, I appreciate people want to play with me, but, you know, the server's there every other day of the week. There's gonna be an issue, it'll get delayed. Yeah. At least I'm very open in saying mine's just a guess based on zero information. So if I'm wrong, I can just say, well, my guess was bad. Who cares? Thinking just after the DLC. I think the most logical time frame is around the DLC at the very least. Might not be day of or week of, but it will be around that time. That I will say with 90% certainty, and 100% certainty is before Christmas. And Yanis, that's a very good point. Yeah, Yanis raises a good point there that could be after, just to keep the spotlight on the DLC. Did I see all the videos go out and seasons and testing yesterday? I'll be real with you, Matty. I don't really follow Farm Sim news, other than like what I see on what people tell me on Discord, and what I get sent by Giants. Yeah, nothing against the game. Where do I sell the barley? Barley goes to Hollister Stores, which is over there. Okay. Has anything come up about Flight Simulator? It's been down for a bit. There's been videos put up about the Microsoft Flight Sim Realistic Gamer. I don't know if you saw that or any of those. Pick some at random. First I heard about seasons being in testing was this morning when I had a gander at Giants Discord, and I said about Microsoft Flight Sim, absolutely, that looks amazing. The first thing I'm going to do is visit my house in it. Off camera, because I'm not showing you guys where my bloody house is. Especially if it is, as some people have claimed, incredibly accurate. But I will be doing some videos and streams with Microsoft Flight Sim, as well as some in Dead Stick, which is a bush flight simulator that I'm also really excited about. If you didn't notice, I'm really into flight sims at the moment. I'm a plane nerd. Which is convenient when I'm going flying, because I know how safe the planes are. But also quite annoying, because I occasionally have to stay up until all hours of the morning because Simulate's flight is delayed, and I need to help him figure out if he's going anywhere today. And keep telling him that, no, the METAR is telling me that the weather is horrific. It's all on real data. It's all... Microsoft found a way to make Bing Maps cool! They did, like... We all talk about impossible tasks with gaming. Microsoft made Bing Maps look good. Which one of these is Hollister Store? Oh, that's useful. I'm guessing the one that has the Hollister signs is Hollister Stores. I remind you of James May. I mean, I guess. Can you ask if I... Oh god, what is it, Sim? Why are you making fun of that time that you messaged me at 6 in the morning? Dave, are you awake? What's the small subslider called in game? The TT Multi-Cultivator 5-in-1. You get the window seat. Ooh. Oh, by the way, Matt, did you see the global scenery pack that came out on the X-Plane store? Was it yesterday or the day before? The second one you were after. The Combi Plow Gold 3 meters? Agrosim Combi Plow? Should have taken that turn. Whoops. But Matt, you said it didn't look good. I'm gonna get the scenery pack for no other reason than it'll save me generating ortho for the damn tour. I don't know, Drew. That's kind of one of the interesting bits and bobs about it, is like the technology they're using is like, it should work on most PCs. Here's the thing, the Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, that's 5 years old. They've been working on it for 5 years. So it should run on most computers, and most of the scenery and stuff is going to be streamed. I've heard some, just with lower settings, they're making it for the Xbox. That is, in the developer's own words, Matty, Xbox is a secondary concern. It is not a console game. It is a PC game they are porting to console. Which... a lot of the flight sim nerds like me just put a big old smile on our faces, because so many games, especially simulators that make it over to console, get so watered down. And the devs of MSFS 20 saying, hey, we don't really, like, console is a thing that we're gonna do, but it's not our primary thing. Our primary market is the hardcore flight sim dudes who want a hardcore simulation experience. It's like, yes, more of this. Where am I selling the oats? Lono Company. You give up already. GG, Sim. Can I ask you to just ignore the rain sounds? Apparently that's a bug. But I'm like actually hyped for Microsoft Flight Sim. Where are their rain sounds? Because you're a git. Vince McMahon booked the weather. It doesn't have to make sense. It's just happening now. That drift was incredible. What drift? The back end of the truck is just doing its own thing. Could you imagine seeing a truck doing that in real life, just coming at you and the entire trailer's pointing sideways? Also, I'm quite impressed the Scandinavian flick actually works in Farm Sim to get a good drifto going. Like that's genuinely kind of impressive. You've seen videos like that. Does the video usually end in the trailer tipping over though? In real life a truck wouldn't be driving at those speeds in the snow. Technicalities. Those are mere technical details. Hey, I missed a good one. Look at idiots. Oh, that was pretty sweet, actually. Truck guy straightens out or crashes the trailer in a ditch or tree or another car. So what you're saying is I'm clearly the world's best truck driver. Hello, Nathan. Here we go. Big drift. Big drift. No. Ta-da! Land his life? Sweet. I'll get this back to the yard and then call it a day. By the way, it's a Kinross W900. It's from Yes Mods, and it comes in pink. But that is going to do it for today, guys. I will be back tomorrow with some Oakfield, probably. So I hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and follow if you're over on Twitch. The 4 of you guys that are apparently over there, according to Restream at least. By the way, if you're on Twitch, you could have chatted this entire stream. I did see a few people pop messages in, because I do have restream chat running. But that is going to do it for today. Until tomorrow, stay safe, and goodbye.
That's how we do it in my garden.
Quack, quack.